Okay, cool. So let us begin our the demo finale for the BrightID Hackathon, which is an event during the Gitcoin Round 8 Hackathon. We're gonna ask every applicant, the final applicants that we have, the final 5 applicants to demo their projects and their hacks with BrightID for 5 minutes. Every applicant is going to share their screen and talk about their project and show us how it actually works. We're going to start, and then after that, we're going to talk about the polling, the user rewards polling, which is going to happen on BrightID Discord. I will tell you more about it later, and I think it's a good time to start with Andrew. Andrew, please, I'm going to enable you to share your screen now, and the stage is yours.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew, and I built. I don't know. I don't have a great name for it. It's like a BrightID test app. I built basically. It's essentially a testing harness that allows you to test all of the method calls you would need to integrate an application with BrightID. So I built a little. It's not very pretty, but a React app. Let me pull it up so y'all can see what it looks like. I hit the right button. Um, okay. So this is this little app here that you can see on my screen. This has everything you need to test a new application integration with BrightID. Um, I will say that behind what sits behind this, I built a TypeScript SDK library which is what this app is using. So if your application is built with JavaScript or TypeScript, you can use my SDK to make all these method calls. This here is like essentially like a testing harness. So this is really oriented towards other devs, other teams that want to integrate with BrightID. This is like a test app that will let you test and verify that your context, right, which is like your unique application name within the BrightID ecosystem works. Um, because I kind of played around with the status guys a little bit and their application before we got before Pizzica kind of did the full integration. I'm going to use the status application context because I happen to still have the testing key for that. So Pizzica, make sure you change that later because I'm not going to ever use it again. But so just before we get into this, if you are integrating an app with BrightID, you have to work with a node operator, whether it's the BrightID team or one of the other nodes that runs on the BrightID network, to create a new context, which is the unique, application identifier. That's what status is up here. So like if I delete this, it'll, you see context, and then context ID is the unique individual user. It's not your BrightID, but for each user, there is a specific, like what they call a context ID, which is what links that user to that application, and that is not shared. Your individual BrightID is not shared with an application unless you, I guess, choose to in some other way. But this context ID is how the app knows that you have a BrightID and that you are a unique human being. So the idea of this app that I built here is to allow someone who is setting up a new context to just play around with it, see what it looks like when from kind of as a application, what does a user look like? It does a couple of different things. So up in this first box here, you see application context. This is actually like when if you want to test out linking a BrightID with a specific context, you can do that. So I'm going to say status, and then this right here just generates a random UUID, and then it creates a QR code that you can scan with the BrightID app, or there's also a click link here. So I'm just going to show you how that works real quick. So here is if y'all can see that, there's my BrightID right there. I'm going to do the scan a code button on BrightID. Go up here, scan it, and now if you can see this, it's now asking me, do you want to link your BrightID with status, which I'm going to hit yes. And then now I'm doing the same thing to anyone who's integrating a new app with BrightID. This allows you to test out and verify that you can link your context, your application's context. In our case, we're using status. You can link that, and then it links that with this context setting. You can put any arbitrary value in here. So that is like, that's like the core user flow for linking a BrightID to your application. And you can use like all of the behind here in my TypeScript SDK, there's stuff for doing all that work. And then down this next box down here in the middle is where you can check the status of an individual context ID. So I've got, and uses the context and the context ID you have up here. So if I say check status, and you look, I have a little box here that actually displays the API response. I filtered it a little bit. It's not just the raw, HTTP GET response. I filtered it down to kind of the key values that you need to interact with the BrightID protocol. So you see the first one here says this is a unique human. So that's BrightID's way of saying, yes, this is the current context ID linked with an individual user's ID. And it also says that we think they're a unique human. App here tells you the name of the application, you see the context. And then these are all the context IDs that I have ever linked with in this case, Andrew's BrightID. So if I do, just to see what happens here, I'm going to show you right now. I just created this new one and I linked it. There is, if I copy one of these older ones, let's say take this one, and if I throw it up here, I can now say check status, and it's going to say false because it's no longer. So it returns that is a context ID that was previously linked to my BrightID, but it is not the current one. So these are all things that application owners can use. There's a lot more in the BrightID dev documentation that explains how you can use all this stuff. But this is just, I think, a very helpful way for someone who is first starting out on integration to see what happens when you how to generate a BrightID context, the linking QR code and the link and how the user flow would look. In addition to that, I also have, there's also if you are not planning to sponsor BrightIDs to help kind of onboard your users to the BrightID ecosystem, you can use sponsorships. And if you have sponsorships available, you can use the sponsor button here to try and sponsor. And this requires, up here this is the sponsor private key in the top one. Please delete that. You can see this is where you have to use the sponsor private key and then make a specific API call to the BrightID node to try to do that. And so I'm down here in the test app, it shows that the status app doesn't currently have any available sponsorships. But if I did, it would show how many. So I'll give you an example, just because I know Gitcoin has some. Gitcoin has a bunch of sponsorships. Obviously, I do not have the Gitcoin sponsor private key. So if I try to sponsor, I'm going to put some random text in here, it'll let me try to sponsor. And if I hit sponsor, it's gonna, if it worked, come on. Well, okay, it's not, I'm not sure why the API is not responding right now. This button should be calling and returning a error. You don't have the, wrong private key. I'm not sure why that's not working off. So I'm probably something, I can look at that later. But the idea being, if you have the right ID, it would, get the right private or sponsor private key. It will let you could actually sponsor a BrightID in your app. The other thing that I wanted to demo real quick is BrightID also exposes something called the test blocks endpoint, which allows you, if you are testing out your integration and you have sponsored a user or someone's BrightID, or you have linked them with your app, you have these unverify, unsponsor, and unlink API methods, and these let you. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. That doesn't always happen as quickly as we would like. So yeah, I'm not, for some reason the network's not responding at the moment, and I'm not sure why that is, because this actually no, I actually know what it is. Okay, so sorry. So I'm going to let me put up my valid unique sponsor or BrightID. Sorry, wrong button. Check the status. Okay, this context ID, which is linked currently to the status context for Andrew's BrightID, is showing as unique. I can do unlink, and this tells me that I was successfully able to submit this unlink request to the test blocks. And if I do check status, it doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for the testing stuff to propagate to the network. Eventually, it should return a different response. It's something like context ID not found. I tested it earlier.
Andrew, I just want to remind you that you're 2 minutes past your time, but
oh no, I'm so sorry. No, I'm just about sorry. Feel free to ping me if y'all have more questions. These things do work. It doesn't always work as quickly as I'd like, so I'm sorry if I went over. But here again, this is a test harness for the BrightID ecosystem. And like I said, there is a TypeScript library that anyone who uses a JavaScript TypeScript app can use in their link. So I'm done. I'll stop sharing. Apologies for running over.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. I think The developers would really love your project to have. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Andrew.
It was great. Thank you. And I guess this is time for Daniel, please,
Yep.
which we already knew him as Araniel, which is cool. But Daniel, please.
Daniel, Araniel, that's fine.
The stage is yours.
All right, let me share the screen. Okay. So I've been working on a project called AvaSky, which focuses on full integration with BrightID, as we will soon see. It's a decentralized workstation for humans. It's more like a gateway, which has two main components. It has a social component and a resource access component. So let's go ahead and check those out. All right. So first of all, before accessing our resources, we have to log in, if I should say so. So let's go ahead to our profile and see our status. All right. There you go. Let me move this. There you go. All right. So I can insert my BrightID in this little box and get a few social indicators. The BrightID, as you may well know, is very easily grabbed by accessing the Explorer on BrightID, log in with your credentials, and copying it to the clipboard. Via the Node API, this allows me to retrieve a few social indicators, to say so. So if I click ahead on this button, I'll get the number of connections I have, as well as a few trusted BrightIDs and my score, which is 0 for now, as we will see soon enough. So this, I think, will help to build a social component for my application and with the help of BrightID. And yeah, without betraying privacy, that's the most important aspect. Now, the next component of this social profile is the ability to get linked and get verified if you are, I said Jarvis or not. So if you're a robot or if you are a human. I do that via an Ava trust score, which uses BrightID in the background by, first of all, generating a context ID, a QR code based on that context ID, and then querying your human status. So let's go ahead and do that. If I hover over the BrightID logo on BrightID Connect, a very nice QR code is going to be shown. And in fact, I'll go ahead and link myself. So here is my BrightID, if you can see that, and I'll go ahead and scan the code. All right, so this will open the application and it will ask me to link my app with Gitcoin. As it is a workstation, I thought that Gitcoin would be the most appropriate to link with as it hosts a number of hackathons and so forth. So I'll click yes, I'll wait and have my account linked. So let's wait for the success notification. I'll show that immediately. It should take, there you go. It was a success, as you can see. All right, so I'm done with that. Let's see what other capabilities this has. If I click on sponsorships, it uses the same Node API to check out if I'm sponsored or not. So I can get queried for verification. And guess what? I'm unverified on BrightID because the moment I tried to connect with people, my camera wasn't working. So for the time being, I guess I'm Jarvis. Honestly, I wish I would have been Jarvis. I would have been smarter. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what else this application can do. So it displays a badge called unverified on BrightID where, if the querying is, well, failing. If you were verified, it would have displayed a verified badge. Here we have a list of services that are linked to my account, which is Gitcoin for one, because the linking was successful. AvaSky, I have to list it to a node operator on BrightID. I have yet to do that, as well as Skydrop, which is a service, an add-on for AvaSky, which we will explore in a few moments. Down below, I have implemented a proof of concept called Good Deeds, which allows your coworkers or friends to comment on your profile and say something nice about you. So it brings further confirmation that you're a special human, a bright human, I should say. This solution will be far more elegant once a very specific issue with BrightID concerning delegate pair keys is going to be solved, but that is still to be solved, as I said. So I've logged in, so to speak. I have been queried as a human. So let's explore the other aspect of AvaSky. That other aspect is called resources. So let's go ahead and click it, see what happens. All right. So this is a little workaround, and I think an interesting concept I'm going to explain. So I previously used magic links to allow a user to authenticate easily and get access to a certain resource. I've been thinking otherwise, and I was like, no, I'm going to do this with BrightID only. So how did I do that exactly without the issue of delegate pair keys being solved? Well, I basically got the context ID that was generated in the session with the profile. I saved it as a sort of session token and transferred it onto this page. And well, we were already verified, so we don't have to do it all over again. So in fact, it transfers the status from the profile page, if you were human or not. And if you want to access whatever resource I have allowed my users to connect to, well, if you're human, you'll get access. If you're not human, you're not gonna get access to it. So to my great sorrow, I'm not going to get an access to my own service because I'm not human yet. So if I click this, it says you are not verified, Jarvis. So yeah, thanks for that, my own application. But if you were verified, you would have gained access to Skydrop, which is the add-on I developed for this workstation. And I'll just show it to you so you have an idea what I was talking about. So if the verification proved that you were human, you would have been redirected to this resource, which is just a decentralized service for sharing content. Yeah, to round up, I've used BrightID for pretty much everything. And from the social part to the resource access part, which I think is amazing and proves that BrightID has a lot of capabilities just with human application. So it adds a human experience to the applications that you can develop. And this is amazing. So thank you for the opportunity. And thanks for having me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I want to congratulate everybody once again. So yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. This is really interesting. Nice. And I like the graphics that you took. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, man. I look
Daniel,
forward to see that really working.
At the end of this call.
Yeah.
Yes, let's have a connection party at the end.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll join right in.
We're here. We're here. Cool. Cool. Thank you, man. And yeah, I'm going to make sure to use those links that you shared and get a hands-on with that. And yeah, let's give the stage to Pizzica. I hope he still has the background that we were saying. And yeah, the stage is yours if you want to go.
Yes, I'm going to actually turn off the video.
It's perfectly fine.
And share my screen. So can you see the app, mobile app?
Yeah, we see your status app.
All right. So I'm going to log in. And what I've done is integrate BrightID linking and verification, just the minimum at this point. It all starts from the status profile here, this screen. And right here, BrightID. What I've done is I'm already verified in BrightID, but what I did was using the test block, I blocked linking and sponsorship and verification. So right now, over here and over here, I'm linked. So users can just, if the app is BrightID app is installed in the same mobile phone, they can click on this button and it will launch the BrightID app for linking. But I don't have it. I don't have it in this simulator. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to scan my BrightID. Okay, and I just hit the link button. So I go back. So right now it's still saying link your status, but in just a little bit, it should say you're linked, but not sponsored. What I've done is the status has the chat key, and I'm using that as the context ID and the status as context itself. And there you go. This thing just changed. It says BrightID linked with your chat key, but you are not. You are yet to be sponsored by an app that uses BrightID. Right now, I could not implement the sponsoring because this is a mobile app, and I didn't want to create a backend to do that yet. And if I go over here, it alternatively, it asks you to go to Rabbit Hole or OneHive or Rabbit Hole. So we could, in this, we could expand to just, in the future, the sponsorship could be handled by status itself or linked to the OneHive, and you just can go to OneHive and do their sponsorship through OneHive. So right now, in the background, I am going to remove the blocking of sponsorship, and I am going to, currently there is no polling going on in the background beyond the first linking. So I'm going to have to log out and then log back in. And then, so now it says BrightID is linked with your chat key, but you are not verified. So last time it was not sponsored, now not verified. So BrightID, it asks you to join a verification party. Should have had the link to the Discord and everything over here, but you get the picture. Now I am going to also unblock the verification in the background through the API. And again, log back, log out, and then log back in. And if I go back over here, now linked sponsored and verified, and this changes. And beyond this, this is now linked with status app. My hope was to integrate it with invite friends, which this section itself is not live yet in stable status. So what I was thinking was verifying the human and uniqueness of the inviter, so that they can only use up to 15 or however many referral bonus. But that's just one application. Status has public chats, and group chats, and soon we will have communities, and that will need moderation. And the application in Discord of Sybil resistance membership in Discord, we have seen we can implement that in status. And there's just a whole bunch of, I mean, this BrightID being social identity solution, and status being social and wallet and dApp browser. There's just tons of opportunities we can make use of based on this foundation. And that's the end of my demo. Thank you. Hello?
I was on mute, sorry. Thank you, Pizzica. And I really love the idea of integrating BrightID with a messaging app. That would be something amazing, this is one of the instances. I really look forward to see that in action. And I really appreciate it. And now with Pizzica, I think this is time for Mohammad Reza Mousavi and also Puya, I think, the team. The stage is yours, and we are here to listen to you both. You can now share your screen if you want to.
Hi everyone, is my voice clear?
Perfect.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, we developed a Telegram robot that I think it's a mock-up for a universal basic income, and it is a story on Medium. You can check it later. It tells how it works and how to get a free top-up. Let me go to the robot.
Mohammad Reza, your voice is kind of down now.
It's okay now?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is our bot. If we start it, it tells that it gives us a free top-up if we have a verified BrightID account, and it's only for one time. For now, it is possible for Iranian people with Iranian SIM cards. They can take this free top-up, but we are working on adding some South American countries. It is multilingual, and let's begin. In the next stage, the bot sends us a QR code that we can scan it to link the app to our context ID, link our BrightID account to our robot. Then, if we are clicking on the deep link to proceed on linking stage. Okay, I want to try that. If I'm verified, I should be allowed to the next stage. Now I'm verified and I can choose my network carrier. Now I put my...
I just want to mention that if you are sharing the screen and we're supposed to see that, we're just seeing the first page of the bot.
Isn't my screen shared?
I think we are still seeing your Medium article only.
Oh.
Now you're playing with it. Now we can see it moving. Cool. We're just seeing on the top of the app. We don't see the actual text on the bottom.
Okay, let me... I think you are seeing my Telegram. Okay. Are you seeing it now?
No, we're just seeing your browser.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you should now...
Yes, now we can see your Telegram, yes.
Let me done this again, if I have time to it. Okay, I start the bot again. It tells me that if I have a verified BrightID account, I can get a free top up. It is only once, and it's now supported for Iran. Let's begin. It gives us a QR code. We can use it to link our BrightID account to the robot. Then, or there's a deep link. We can use it for linking to. And then I should press the next button. If I'm verified, I can choose my network carrier. I am choosing. These three buttons are, these three network carriers are free of network carriers in Iran. Now I should enter my phone number, and then it says me I received that, and it's my serial number. If I have any problem with getting, I want to show that if I restart the bot, I cannot get the top up a second time. And the bot told me that you have already got your free top. Now I want to say that we are integrating with BrightID with our own developed SDK, and it has two parts. One part for developers and one part for BrightID users. They can create BrightID and make connections with it. And I want to give the stage to my friend Puya Fikri to demo the SDK. Thank you. Good. Thank you, you all.
Hi everyone.
Thank you, Mohammad Reza. Yeah, let's listen to
I hear
Puya and about the SDK.
Can you hear my voice? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my Chrome?
We are seeing your browser. Yes.
Share screen.
Yes.
Okay. Because we are running out of time, I do this quickly, and I can't demo the SDK, but I just told you what install. The SDK is written in Python language programming, and if you are developer, Python developer, you can use it. You can install it via tree install Python BrightID, and or you can download the repository, and with this command you can install the SDK. Okay, our SDK has the base part that you told us. It can integrating apps, and also as you see, we describe this these steps in the README, and you can see the SDK can create a deep link, and it get a schema that you can get the short form deep link or the long format of that. Okay, because you all already seen this part in your application, I just skip this part and go to the some feature that we add in the SDK. You can enter the node, your node URL in SDK, but if you do not get any input in the constructor of the BrightID package, you it's by default connect to the main node of the BrightID that run on the on this IP. And you can get IP also with the IP method and the state of the node. You can see the user's information. You can see the user connections that you know it's inbound and outbound connections. You can if you want to request some users to see their profile, you can use the users.profile method. It gets ID of the users you want to see the profile and the ID of the exactly you. And it's the difference. It's the difference between users.profile and users.get is the mutual connections and mutual groups that show us the same group that and connections we have with this users that we want to see his profile or her profiles. Okay, you can get the app data, all app data with apps.get. It would return a list that showed all apps that BrightID has or sponsor them or something else. I don't know what should I told it. You can see just a specific application with the app with the name of that app in the method.get. For example, top of Gifter, our app, or you can this part are in integrating part, and you can show you can read the for more you can read the read me for more details. And the SDK also have a blocking part for tests, and for operation. The most part of I think the most part of BrightID new users in the SDK with the BrightID.tools.create BrightID. You can create new users, and you know that we for a BrightID known our user, we must first send operation connect for first time, and in this part it's demo the operation connect, and we also add feature sign for operation to get developer job easier to use our SDK in Python. I think and just some feature we can add, and it would be I think the complete SDK for BrightID in Python, and you can use it for and you can offer it to the developer that wants Python that wrote in Python their app to use this SDK. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm already done.
Thank you, Puya. Nice. So a project both for the users like me. I'm gonna tell my friends and family in Iran to try it real fast, and it's really good for developers as well. Really cool. Thank you. And yeah, but last but not least, let's listen to Yazdani and his friend Ehsan, and they have a cool project. I'm really interested on having discussions on this, and let's listen. The stage is yours.
Thank you. I'm helping Mohsen and Yazdani. My friend Mohsen is here in Zoom, and I'm gonna talk about Lumos behind them. So because I think we have a verification party in 15 minutes, I'm going to go fast. And yeah, let me share my screen. I think, oh, uh, here it is, the homepage of Lumos. So I'm going to tell you what Lumos actually is. Lumos is a service where enables individuals to verify their uniqueness in services that are not currently integrated with BrightID, like Telegram or Twitter or Instagram. And you can also verify your own email or Ethereum address on Lumos. And like Telegram, it has a feature for polling, and Lumos enables you to start a polling and delete the accounts that are not verified on Lumos, and that is going to be a fair poll. And lots of services require users to have to require users emails to register on the system, and they can and user can verify their emails on Lumos, and those services can use Lumos API to have verified users on their system. So it's going to help them, and it prevents the difficulty of integration to BrightID. I mean, the technical problems and lots of things that they don't want to face. And we also have an API here. We provide an API here, and everyone can use it. So we also have developed a Telegram bot. I'm going to explain it later at the end of this. And let me tell you how Lumos works. So first of all, you can check one's account on Lumos, whether it is verified or not. For example, my Instagram account is BrightID here. I'm gonna check whether I am verified on Lumos or not. So as you can see, I am already verified on Lumos, and I have linked my BrightID account to Lumos before. But I don't know, let me enter something which is not verified, or here I'm gonna check. As you can see, this test one is not verified on, test one's Instagram is not verified on Lumos. So that's it. And if you want to verify your own accounts or your Ethereum address, your email, you need to log in first. I'm gonna click on login. And as you can see, you can link Lumos with your with the QR code, or if you're on the phone, you can use the link. I just scan the QR code. Here, this is very important that you wait on the page, because if you refresh the page, you're gonna do it again. You will be needed to do the whole thing again. You need to wait that you see the successfully connected thing here. And as you can see, I am successfully connected, so I can update my account on Instagram, which was BrightID. I'm gonna go with BrightID again, and as you can see, I am successfully linked to Lumos. And yeah, you can see you can do it for each account you want. And we also developed a Telegram bot for pollings, for fair pollings on Telegram. And you can find it on services button here. And I already have it on Telegram. So let me share my Telegram page. Okay, can you see my Telegram? Okay, and I'm gonna explain it very fast. It is very simple to use our Telegram bot, because the instructions are written very simply and and very good, I think. And so I'm going to create a poll, and I'm going to go with the Q for the question phrase, and O1 for the first, sorry. And and O2 for the second one, and I'm gonna go with two, with only two options, and but you can add more options if you want. I'm gonna click on done. I'm gonna go with anonymous. You can in public and anonymous. I think you may know, because anonymous people cannot see the voters, and in public they can. So I'm gonna go with anonymous. I'm gonna go with 6 hours, or you can enter, but how many hours you want. And here is the poll. So I'm gonna share it with a group here. I just created for testings. I'm gonna vote with two accounts. That one of them is verified, which is my account. One of them is not verified. So I'm gonna vote here for O1. As you can see, my vote counts because I'm verified. And the other account here is I'm gonna go with O2. As you can see, I see the message that I am not registered on Lumos. So I need to register on Lumos, and if I am verified on BrightID, I can vote for it. Yeah, that's all. And I think I'm sorry, I missed something. We also we also ran a node on BrightID. Let me show you. We also ran
We can surely read about it in the bounties channel if you want to.
Yeah,
but,
here is the one.
please, yes.
It's a subdomain of the Lumos itself.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's
cool.
It's all. Let me. How can I stop sharing?
I don't know. Just stop doing it.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the top of your screen.
Yeah, sorry.
Cool. Thank you, man. That was nice. That was interesting. And I want to learn more about the project later.
Okay.
Okay. I think you should answer in the chat because we need to wrap up.
Sorry.
But cool. Thank you. I want to give my special thanks to all applicants. Really cool use cases of BrightID and the applications. I want to confess that I didn't try them myself, but I will right after this. The user awards are going to be open for polling. Please vote on the favorite projects. We're going to announce it in our verified club on BrightID Discord server. Only verified users on BrightID can vote, so we are sure that everyone is voting only once, which is another use case of BrightID, which is something else that BrightID is really good for. This recording is going to be available either with a link to the recording on Zoom or on YouTube. We're going to talk about that later. So if you want to, you can share it with friends so they can have it on. There's going to be a verification party in almost 7 minutes. So if you want to join, and I think Andrew wasn't verified. Daniel was verified.
Daniel wasn't.
So please join us in the verification party, Daniel, and then we can get you verified so you can use your own app. And yeah, it's going to be a good experience. And yes, please, the voting is going to be open for 24 hours. You can ask your friends to join verification parties, get verified, and then vote for your projects. And yes, before we finish the call, I would love to listen to Adam and see his reaction, even if it's really brief, and then we can call it a day. And I'm super excited to get to use your applications and try them on, and then put my vote on.
Yeah, I just want to say that I thought it was really high quality, the output from the participants in just 2 weeks, what they were able to do. So yeah, really excited. And I'm also excited that, we have SDKs coming out and nodes people running nodes, and lots more bounties that they're doing that are coming from this, that they're not just stopping with this, that they're continuing on and doing more things with BrightID. So this is great. I feel like it's grown our community just from this little hackathon. So it's pretty awesome. So I love what you guys did. Love all of it.
Thank you, Adam. Love to see you guys
you.
here. Nice meeting you, everyone. And stay safe. See you later in verification parties or on Discord. Have a good one. See you, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for joining. See you.